prokaryotic cells, and eukaryotic cells. To begin with, every living organism on Earth comprises either eukaryotic cells or prokaryotic cells. Scientists presumed that eukaryotes evolved from prokaryotes around 2.7 billion years ago. An organism is classified as a prokaryote or eukaryote based on its cellular structure. Prokaryotes are small unicellular organisms without any membrane-bound structures such as nucleus and endoplasmic reticulum. Prokaryotic cells are of small size, with a diameter of 0.1 to 5 micrometers. DNA, proteins, and metabolites are spotted free-floating in the cytoplasm. The two prokaryotic domains include bacteria and archaea. This diagram represents the structure of a prokaryotic bacterial cell. This is the plasma membrane or cytoplasmic membrane, which forms the inner layer of the cell. Rigid cell wall that surrounds the plasma membrane. Some bacterial strains are trilayered. The third layer, called capsule, is present outside the cell wall. These three components together constitute the cell envelope. The central region of the cell with DNA is called the nucleoid. Small 70S ribosomes are seen scattered in the cytoplasm. Pili and fimbriae are filamentous appendages emerging from the cell. Food granule, which is the storage reserve. Flagellum is a specialized appendage for locomotion, and an extrachromosomal circular DNA, called plasmid. Let's elaborate on the components found in a prokaryotic bacterial cell. Cell wall. Each bacterium is surrounded by a rigid cell wall, consisting of a peptidoglycan layer that encloses the cytoplasmic membrane. It provides shape to the cell, and protection from the outside environment. Prevents the osmotic lysis of the bacterial cell. Cytoplasmic membrane. It is composed of phospholipid bilayer and proteins that encloses the interior of the bacterium. The membrane also separates the cell from the outside environment. It is considered as the cell's primary osmotic barrier as it regulates the inflow and outflow of materials from the cell. Capsule. Some bacterial species have a sticky coating outside the cell wall, called the capsule, which is made up of polysaccharides. It prevents the bacterium from dehydration, and protects it from phagocytosis by larger microbes. It is a major virulence factor in disease-causing bacteria, such as Escherichia coli and Streptococcus pneumoniae. Non-encapsulated mutants of these organisms are avirulent, that is, they do not cause disease. Cytoplasm. It is a gel-like matrix composed of water, enzymes, nutrients, wastes, and gases. Cytoplasm contains organelles such as ribosomes, chromosome, and plasmids. Nucleoid. Bacteria have a single, circular chromosome consisting of a double-stranded DNA molecule that is responsible for replication. DNA bundles together in a central region of the cytoplasm called the nucleoid. Plasmids. These are small, extrachromosomal circular DNA molecules that encode proteins to inactivate the antibiotics. Plasmids replicate independently of the chromosome, and unlike the chromosome, they are not involved in reproduction. 70S ribosomes. Ribosomes are the major site for protein synthesis. Bacterial ribosomes are smaller and slightly differs in composition and molecular structure when compared to eukaryotes. They are freely scattered throughout the cytoplasm. 70S ribosomes has two subunits. Larger 50S subunit, and smaller 30S subunit. Flagella. These appendages are thin, tail-like structures that originate in the cytoplasmic membrane and protrude through the cell wall to the outside. Flagella beat in a propeller-like motion to assist in locomotion. Fimbriae. These are thin, short hair-like filamentous appendages emerging from the outer surface of the bacterial cells. The term fimbriae refers to adhesins that attach bacteria to other surfaces. Pili. These filamentous appendages are rod-shaped and are found on the surface of bacterial cells. The term pilus is reserved for sex pilus, which attach bacteria to bacteria, and facilitates DNA uptake and transfer during conjugation. Sex pili are only a few in number per cell, in contrast to many fimbriae. Eukaryotes. Many eukaryotes are complex multicellular organisms such as plants, animals, and humans, consisting of several membrane-bound organelles. There are also some unicellular eukaryotes, like protozoa. Eukaryotic cells are of large size, with a diameter of 10 to 100 micrometer. Organelles such as cell wall and chloroplast are present in plant cells, but are not found in animal cells. Plant cells are autotrophic as they contain chloroplast that performs photosynthesis. Animal cells are heterotrophic because they cannot make their own food. The structure of a eukaryotic animal cell is shown in this diagram. Mitochondrion is the main site for energy production. Plasma membrane encloses all the cell contents. Rough endoplasmic reticulum studded with ribosomes. Nucleus is the administrative center of the cell and stores DNA, which is the cell's hereditary material. Nucleus contains a dense body, called nucleolus, enclosed by double-layered nuclear envelope with nuclear pores. Cell's DNA is present in chromatin form. ADS ribosomes, which are composed of ribosomal RNA and proteins. Cytoplasm. Peroxisomes are roughly spherical and bound by a single membrane. Lysosomes are the suicidal bags of the cell. Small vacuoles. Centrosome involved in cell division. Microtubules are straight, hollow cylinders found throughout the cytoplasm of all eukaryotic cells and give structural support. Microfilaments are solid rods made of actin protein. Microtubules and microfilaments together constitute the cytoskeleton, which is absent in prokaryotes. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum does not have ribosomes. Golgi apparatus that helps in protein and lipid sorting. Golgi vesicles target modified proteins to their destinations in the cell. The structure of a eukaryotic plant cell is shown in this image. Plant cells have a rigid cell wall. Plasma membrane is the inner protective layer surrounded by a rigid cell wall. This is a peroxisome. This is the nucleus enveloped by a nuclear membrane with nuclear pores. Nucleolus and chromatin are present within the nucleus. Plasmodesmata are small tubes that connect plant cells to each other. They provide bridges between cells. Amyloplast is a plastid that stores starch. This is a mitochondrion. Each plant cell has a large, single central vacuole that stores compounds and helps in plant growth. Microfilaments and microtubules are important components of the cytoskeleton. ADS ribosomes. Rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Golgi apparatus. Golgi vesicles. Cytoplasm. Plants carry out photosynthesis with the help of chloroplasts, which contains chlorophyll pigment that imparts green color to the plant. Let's summarize different organelles present in eukaryotic cells, and their structures and functions. Nucleus is referred to as the brain of the cell. It is enclosed by a double-membrane nuclear envelope, and contains DNA, RNA, protein, nucleolus, and chromatin. The functions of nucleus are, it controls the cell's activities, and stores genetic material DNA of the organism in the form of chromatin. Nucleolus is the primary site for synthesis of ribosomal RNA. Mitochondrion is called the powerhouse of the cell. It is a semi-autonomous double-membrane organelle, which generates energy in the form of ADP molecules, and is the main seat of respiration. Chloroplast. It is a semi-autonomous double-membrane-bound organelle that carries out photosynthesis. It transforms sunlight energy into chemical energy in the form of glucose, and this process is termed as autotrophism. Ribosomes are the protein factories of the cell. These are non-membrane-bound organelles composed of ribosomal RNA and proteins. Main site for protein synthesis. ADS ribosomes are composed of two subunits. Larger 60S subunit and smaller 40S subunit. Endoplasmic reticulum is called the supporting framework of the cell. It is a complex network of membranes that form the skeletal framework of the cell. It is of two types. Rough endoplasmic reticulum. It is continuous with outer layer of nuclear envelope and is embedded with ribosomes. It plays a crucial role in protein synthesis and protein secretion. It acts as intracellular storehouse of calcium. Next one is smooth endoplasmic reticulum. It is continuous with rough endoplasmic reticulum, but does not have any ribosomes. Its main functions are lipid synthesis, membrane biogenesis, detoxification in the liver. Golgi apparatus is considered as the shipping department of the cell. It is composed of cisternae, tubules, and vesicles. The main function of Golgi apparatus is that it modifies, sorts and packs proteins into transfer vesicles for transport to their cellular destinations. Golgi complex has two faces. Cis face, which is called the receiving face, and trans face, called the supplying face. Lysosomes, which are commonly known as the suicidal bags of the cell. These are tiny, circular, single membrane-bound organelles filled with digestive enzymes. Aids in intracellular digestion and extracellular digestion, and autophagy. Peroxisomes. These are single membrane-bound organelles that contains oxidative enzymes. Helps in lipid destruction. Vacuole. Animal cell contains small vacuoles that temporarily stores materials and transports substances. Contrastingly, plant cell contains a large central vacuole enclosed by membrane called tonoplast. It controls turgor pressure within the plant cell. Centrosome. It organizes the microtubules and is involved in cell division. Cytoplasm. It is a jelly-like fluid present inside the cell that contains organelles. Cytoplasm contains enzymes that carries out all the metabolic activities of the cell. Plasma membrane. It is a flexible membrane composed of a phospholipid bilayer, surrounding the entire cell and encompasses organelles within the cell. The membrane is selectively permeable that allows the transport of materials by diffusion and osmosis. Cell wall. It is present only in plant cell. The outer cell wall is hard and rigid, and is made up of cellulose. Provides shape, strength, and support to the plant cell. It is fully permeable and plays a vital role in cell division. Plant cells and animal cells share many characteristics such as presence of a nucleus that stores the genetic information. Both plant cells and animal cells are surrounded by a protective plasma membrane and presence of membrane-bound organelles. Apart from this, there are also some striking differences between plant cells and animal cells. Animal cells contain a centrosome and lysosome, whereas most of the plant cells do not. Plant cells have a large central vacuole containing hydrolytic enzymes that function like lysosomes in an animal cell. Plant cells have a cell wall, chloroplasts, and other specialized plastids, whereas animal cells do not. Thank you for watching. Please do like and share this video. Also, click on the subscribe button and hit on the bell icon to get the notification of our latest videos.